Good morning. Happy New Year again. January 2nd. Here we are. We're back to reality, right? January 2nd. It's Tuesday. The holidays officially over. It's full steam ahead. We're back to a routine. I was actually talking to somebody Saturday at the Madison Card Show about that. I'm like, I'm ready. The older I get, the more ready I am to just get the holidays over with and start back with my routine, which is funny because I start celebrating Christmas watching Hallmark Christmas movies in October. At least I did this year. So I think there is holiday burnout. I think I heard that on the radio that we suffer from holiday burnout like December 11th or 12th. It's probably the 12th, but I just hate saying the 12th. And I think I kind of felt that this year because, again, I start watching Hallmark Christmas movies October 22nd. So it's like, okay, 2 months, almost 2 months, kind of done with it. But that is, I feel like historically I've kind of gotten tired of the Christmas season by the second, third week. It's almost like, okay, we've been celebrating for a while now. Let's just get it over with. Older I get, the more I feel that way. And then like the whole week between the holidays is just a waste. It's like that should be like the week between Christmas and New Year's should just be recognized as a federal holiday. And I know the whole religion and stuff, but really Christmas isn't a religious holiday anymore. It's commercialized. Hope I don't offend anybody by saying that, but it's true. Just make it a federal holiday. Like kind of like in Europe, they take the entire month off. Let's just take the entire week and a half off. I guess we'll start with Christmas Eve. Nobody does anything on Christmas Eve. That's just a wasted work day. So we're going to December 24th through January 1st. And then January 2nd, boom, start off with a new year. Why not? Let's do it. If I were president, I would do that. And I would put Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens in the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame voting, I think, is the deadline December 31st. There's still the public ballot. They're still trickling into Ryan Thibodeau, not Mr. Tibbs on Twitter. Let's take a look and see what he's doing. I think there's 102 public ballots in. So in case you don't remember, let's share the ballot here. Thibodeau. That's just a fun Thibodeau. There we go. So there's the full ballot. And I never really dove deep into this year's ballot to like do a show, and because it's just kind of like, well, I'd vote for him, and him without looking at some of the numbers. So just anecdotally, this ballot, I would put in Carlos Beltran, Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez, Gary Sheffield. That's 6. And then I think I'm throwing Billy Wagner in there. So that's my 7. Sorry, Todd Helton. Sorry, Andrew Jones. Sorry, Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley. I don't think those guys are Hall of Famers. I think they're very, very good players, just not Hall of Famers. Omar Vizquel. Omar Vizquel is kind of one of those. I think he's been, because of the domestic violence stuff against him, that's one of those. But there's 7 for sure's that I'm putting in on this ballot. Zach and Porter says, any religious-backed holiday being a federal holiday seems strange when you step back a minute. Hey, that's a good point. Christmas is already like a federal holiday. That's a good point. Great point. So we can do it. Let's make it a federal holiday week. Thank you, Zach. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that. So that's who I would put in. Beltran, Beltre, Mauer. And Mauer is one of those things that it's like, should he go in? Shouldn't he go in? I know there's debate on Joe Mauer. I think Joe Mauer should go in. Manny Ramirez, A-Rod, Sheffield, Wagner. So that's who I would put in the Hall of Fame. Then there is, so ballot 102 came in 10 hours ago. Rob Maddie, I don't know how to pronounce it. He dropped Carlos Beltran. He voted for 10. He dropped Beltran. So his 10 were Beltre, Helton, Andrew Jones, Joe Mauer, Manny Ramirez, A-Rod, Rollins, Sheffield, Utley, Wagner. I mean, those 10 names, I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, there's some names that I wouldn't put, like I wouldn't put Helton or Jones, but you could make a case. Utley, I mean, Utley's probably the one where I've looked at his numbers. He is not a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. Chase Utley is not a Hall of Famer. Let's see. Is there any updates? There was a wacky ballot. Brian Lewis had a wacky ballot. He only voted for 5. Let's bring this one up. Look at this. This is a wacky ballot. So he votes for 5, but look at all those flips. So last year he did vote for Beltre and Helton. Those were the only 2 that he voted the same for last year and this year. He voted for Beltran this year, and I expected a lot of flips on Beltran to the green this year because I had a feeling some writers were going to discipline him on his first ballot because of the sign stealing crap. So I'm not surprised to see him gaining a lot of votes here in year 2. Andrew Jones is a weird one to flip on, as is Billy Wagner, because both of those guys have been on several ballots now. And then he drops A-Rod and Manny Ramirez. Just like, what? Like, I can see not voting for them if that's your thing, but just to and only have 5 and not like, well, there's so many guys that I want to vote for that I'm leaving them off the ballot. This is just a weird ballot. I mean, there's a lot of weird ballots, but this is one of the weirder ones in my opinion. Who is that guy? What's his name? Brian Lewis. I don't know who he is. Doesn't say Brian Lewis. Maybe it'll say down here. New York Post. Well, that explains a lot. At 100 ballots, here we go. Let's share this screen. At 100 ballots in the tracker, highest flip rates, no to yes flips. Beltran, 34% more of the public ballots have voted for Beltran. 26 for Sheffield, but I think this is his last ballot, so that is not surprising. Maybe the number is a little surprising, but I'm not surprised that he had a lot of flips from no to yes. Wagner, Helton up there as well. I want to see if I can find, there's gotta be the latest percentages. Okay, here it is. With 100 ballots revealed, so we haven't added the latest 2. So with 100 public ballots revealed, which is about 26% of the known ballots, Adrian Beltre, 98%. So I think he's a lock to get into the Hall of Fame. Joe Mauer at 83%, and you're like, well, the cutoff is 75%. So you would think Mauer, Helton, Wagner, they're going to get in. No, that's not the case. Now, Mauer and Helton, they've got a strong, they've got some momentum because typically the private ballots will drop those numbers. Typically the public ballots favor these guys, where the private ballots, I guess they're kept private for a reason, where those numbers drop. You saw it with Bonds and Clemens. They would have like 76, 77, 78%. And then the private ballots, they would be at like 68%, 67, 66%. Now, Bonds and Clemens, kind of a different story because you had the steroid cloud hanging over their heads. You don't have that with Mauer or Helton or Wagner. But any case, and I'd have to, and again, I don't know what these numbers were for Helton and Wagner. This is Mauer's first ballot, so I don't know. But I think Mauer has a strong case of getting in at 83% with 100 public ballots revealed. Helton and Wagner, I think Helton, it's going to be like, I think he's going to be right on that cusp. I don't know if he'll get in. I don't think Wagner's getting in. I don't think he's got enough. I don't think he's got a strong enough public balloting to get in. So, but I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. I'll probably be wrong again. So that's my take on the Hall of Fame. I love following it. I always check out how the trends are looking. There's one guy that used to do the trends. Like he did a lot of mathing, and he would math it out based on this, and this, and he would do all kinds of different things that go way beyond my head. But I haven't seen him with his insight, with his numbers this year, which this year would be interesting to see because it's a lot different than what we've seen balloting wise in the last couple of years. So what's going on? Happy Tuesday. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Harlan's in the house. Good morning, Harlan. Dan is here. What's going on? We've got Boston Smoke. Good morning. Dan is not a fan of December 26th. Oh, I love December 26th because it's boom. I get right back to it. Back into my grind. I love it. This year I loved having December 20th, Christmas Day. Didn't do a damn thing. I did a lot of damn things, just none work related. The lot of damn things I did were watch Christmas movies all day. And it was kind of nice. My mom even mentioned, she goes, I never watched TV. It was kind of nice just watching TV all day. Yeah. But it was really nice to get back to my routine, December 26th. And, I would say that today, but I did a hell of a lot of shipping yesterday. Did some listing too, but not a lot. Like maybe volume wise, I listed 400 cards to my eBay store in like 20 minutes. Now I was listing 99-cent free shipping commons, although there were some, and I saw one person here, I think he's in the chat, got a deal. I'm like, I'm just going to list. I grabbed 81 Fleer, 82 Fleer, and 83 Fleer. And I'm like, I'm rolling 99-cent free shipping on all of these. And there was a Mike Schmidt, which somebody grabbed. Good deal at 99 cents free shipping. I think that was an 82 Fleer Mike Schmidt. There's some other ones that I'm like, should I go and update the price on this? Nope. Somebody's getting a deal. 99 cents free shipping. So, of course, Car Dealer Pro was like 98% accurate on the AI identification, which was par for the course for 1.0 also. But I just wanted to get a bunch added in and do the 99 cents, that low shipping or that low price, maybe drive some traffic into the store. So that was kind of my idea, just to get some movement, just to get some activity listing wise in my store. So I think here the rest of this week, I'll go back to my good box and I'll put some good inventory in. But hey, if somebody's collecting 82 or 83 Fleer and they're set builders, hey, might be able to help them out. Johnny Boy Cards is here. What's up? Good morning. Christian's in the house. What's going on? David is here. Good morning. He's back to the live show. Welcome back. Christian says, what a bummer. Nonstop football has stopped. I didn't watch any football. Well, I take that back. I did watch football. I watched the Badger game against LSU. I don't even know what bowl game that was. But they played LSU. Yawn in the bowl game. I think I had another game on just briefly, like in the back when I was in here, just briefly. I didn't watch any of the the playoff games. Michigan. I'm a big fan of the Michigan win. Michigan wins. And Washington. Interesting. So we've got Washington, Michigan in the championship game next. Is it that next week, I assume? So that was fun. I didn't watch it, but it sounded fun. Mark Marinello, good morning. Mikey reached 5,000 listings on his eBay store. Congrats. That's a huge milestone. Philly Joe is here. Good morning. Mark's picks for the Hall of Fame: Carlos Beltran, Adrian Beltre, Andrew Jones, and Billy Wagner. Steroid guys will have to wait longer. See, I'm pro steroid guys. Robert, good morning. Happy New Year. Hey, I was a little late too. I was a little late. Biscuit's been waking up in the middle of the night the last couple nights. My wife heard it. Last night my wife heard both times because I woke up when she put Biscuit back in bed, and then when she went out to take Biscuit to potty like an hour later. I think one earlier. I think I picked her up, put her back in bed, and then she jumped down a second time, and my wife's like, just take her out. I'm like, damn it. I think what happened was it was about 4:00, I think, when my wife took Biscuit out, and I looked at my phone to see what time it was, and I think I shut my alarm off. And that's why I slept in a little bit this morning. Peter, good morning. Happy New Year. He says none of these guys belong in the Hall of Fame. Zach says the only Hall of Fame vote that matters to me in this year or the Lord is Devin Hester. There you go. Devin Hester should be in the Football Hall of Fame. I agree. Mark says, I love my Mets. Jose Reyes shouldn't be on the ballot. Hey, we can talk about that. I need to click that one. They just need to fill a ballot. And it's like, do you really need to fill a ballot? So Bobby Abreu should be on the ballot. Jose Bautista should be on the ballot. Beltran Beltre should be on the ballot. Mark Burley, sorry, Dan, but I don't know. Bartolo Colon, I don't think so. Adrian Gonzalez, yes. Todd Helton, yes. Matt Holliday's kind of one of those. Torrey Hunter, he's known more for his fielding. Victor Martinez should not be on the ballot. Brandon Phillips should not be on the ballot. Jose Reyes should not be on the ballot. James Shields should not be on the ballot. So, I think if I were to say, okay, these 5 guys have no business being on the ballot. Okay, say I've got to have 5 guys on this 2024 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot. James Shields is the first to go. All right. James Shields, first to go off my ballot. Then I think I'm going Brandon Phillips. He's the second guy off my ballot. My third guy off the ballot. Let's see. Probably Jose Reyes. My fourth guy off the ballot, probably Burley. My fifth guy off the ballot, probably Victor Martinez. Those would be my first 5 off. Where are we at? Philly Joe says, I'm good with your Hall of Fame ballot, except for maybe Mauer. Mauer's one of those guys where I think people say, well, he's a Hall of Fame. He should eventually get in. And I'm not a believer in the eventually. It's like you're either in or you're out. That's my thought on Hall of Fame. And I understand the first ballot Hall of Famer. I think that's not as much of that doesn't carry as much weight today as it did 30 years ago. First ballot Hall of Famer, unanimous. Which we've had one? Mariano Rivera. Can you believe that? Like, that's just weird. That's just. But I think Joe Mauer's in. Mark says Brian Lewis writes for the New York Post. Nobody takes the Post seriously. When I saw he was a New York Post guy, I'm like, oh, okay, that explains a lot. Sal Dougie, what's going on? Happy New Year. Missed you on Saturday. Missed you and East Coast Tom. Kyle's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Neil is here. What's up? Good morning. Happy New Year. Cardboard Critters, what's going on? Good morning. Back from Sin City. Checked out 702 Cards and picked up some inventory. I saw some pictures. Looked fun. Flipping Sports Guys in the house. He says, give me Beltray, Chef, and A-Rod. The rest are yawn, not worthy. Tracy says, good morning. Back to school. See, I'd probably have a different feeling about getting back to a routine if I was a teacher. Be like, give me another week. Morning, Brian. What's going on? Happy New Year. Flipping Sports Guy says, I still stand firm, though, in this thought. If you're not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then you're not a Hall of Famer. And that's what I was going. It's like, first ballot Hall of Famer. It's like you're a Hall of, like, why do you have to go through 9-10 voting cycles before you're elected? Maybe that tells me more about, maybe you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame if it takes you 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ballots. Larry Walker, it took him 10 to get in. It's like, Hall of Fame card collector Mikey says Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, Ty Cobb, Walter Johnson, Christy Mathewson, Mickey Mantle, Roberto Clemente should be the only Hall of Famers. What about Willie Mays? Willie Mays is and Barry Bonds are the two greatest baseball players of all time. That's my opinion. Throw tomatoes at me. Willie Mays, in my belief, is the greatest. And it's hard to compare eras, but Willie Mays, greatest baseball player of all time, in my opinion. Barry Bonds, second. T206 Kid says the reason why so many guys are on the ballot is because the amount of years they played. Funny thing about Jose Reyes is people want to push for Utley, but Reyes had a better career number-wise. And that's what, like, you look at Chase Utley's numbers, and we're going to do that right now. And it's like, Chase Utley does not have Hall of Fame numbers. And Jose Reyes. Oh, we got to find the right Jose Reyes first. Jose Reyes. This one. Okay. So here, we're going to look at, no, I think I have to remove there. Now, can we present? There we go. All right. So let's look at Jose Reyes. So Jose Reyes, 37.4 career WAR. I know some of you don't like WAR. Only 2,138 hits, 145 home runs, a 283 career batting average, 719 RBI, 517 stolen bases. Let's see. He was 4-time All-Star. Only finished in the top 10 of the MVP voting once. That was in 2006. He won a Silver Slugger that same season. Finished 11th in MVP voting in 2011. So that's Jose Reyes. All right, let's check out Chase Utley. Oh, we got to change screens here. Stop and present. So let's look at Chase Utley. He's got that WAR going for him, 64.5 WAR. But he only has 1,885 hits. Less than 2,000 hits. That's kind of a deal. Like, you don't even have 2,000 career hits. I don't know if you're a Hall of Famer. 259 home runs, 275 career batting average, 1,025 RBI, 154 stolen bases. He was a 6-time All-Star and a 4-time Silver Slugger. So he has Reyes in those two categories. He's got Reyes and WAR and RBI and home runs. But Reyes has him in batting average, hits, runs, stolen bases. I wonder where they are. Let's take a look at the old Jaws. Where's the Jaws? Or the Hall of Fame stats. Here, Jaws. So Chase Utley ranks 12th in the Jaws second baseman. The only non-Hall of Famers above him, Robinson Cano. That's a good one. Is Robinson Cano a Hall of Famer? Ooh. Oh wait, non-Hall of Fame. Oh, and also Bobby Grich, which I know there's a big segment of people that think Bobby Grich should be in the Hall of Fame. Lou Whitaker's right below him, not in the Hall of Fame. So of the top 20 second basemen, only 1, 2, 3 are eligible. Willie Randolph are eligible and not in the Hall of Fame. Willie Randolph, Lou Whitaker, and Bobby Grich. You also have Dustin Pedroia, Robinson Cano in there. All right, let's take a look at Jose Reyes. All right. Remove, stop, and present. Ooh, what did I press? Pressing buttons. Share screen. We want to go to Jose. All right. We're at Jose. So let's take a look at Jose's jaws. Jose's jaws. All right. Here we go. Jaws. Oh, he's 57th, but shortstop is a little more prevalent position than second base. So shortstop all the way down at 57. So he's got a lot of non-Hall. So some of the players that are above Jose Reyes, Johnny Pesky, Jay Bell, Maury Wills, Dave Concepcion, Rafael Furcal, Dick Bartell, Rico, is it Petrocelli? Probably Petrocelli. Mark Bellinger, Vizquel, Tony Fernandez all the way up there at 39, Al Dark, Jimmy Rollins all the way up there at 34, Vern Stevens, Miguel Tejada, Jim Fragosi, Bert Campaneris. So you're looking at Jaws and you're like, there's no way in hell Jose Reyes is a Hall of Famer, but you can make that argument for Chase Utley. All right. But I still don't think, looking at the numbers, but I mean, maybe against other second, and that's what Jaws does. It compares you against your contemporaries at that position, which goes against my, saying that I don't think Chase Utley is a Hall of Famer, goes against my whole argument that you can't, because my buddy Steven is talking about closers shouldn't be. It's like you can't judge Billy Wagner against Nolan Ryan or Bob Gibson. It's a completely different. You have to judge him against his contemporaries at his position. And closer is now in modern day baseball a huge part of the game. Let's see. Mikey says he's kidding. Okay. Flipping Sports Guy says Utley shouldn't even sniff the Hall of Fame. Phillies Wall of Fame, 100%. I'm with you. I don't think Chase Utley's a Hall of Famer. Some of the numbers say different. Hall of Fame card collector says these modern players aren't as good as the old-time greats, and it worsens the legitimacy of the Hall of Fame. Now, that's a whole nother argument that's kind of a slippery slope, because it's really difficult to compare eras because the game has changed so much. I mean, the dead ball era, you go back to the 19th century, and that's got to have its own, like, you can only compare those guys against those guys. And then there's the Babe Ruth era, completely different from the 19th century. And then you have the golden age of baseball, Mike Moynihan's channel. You have that golden age of the 50s and 60s. Then all of a sudden you have, by the 70s and 80s, the game changed again. And here we are in the 2000s. The game is much different than it was a few decades ago. Brian says the guy is building 90-91 tops, 2019 to 2023 tops, and 89 Donruss. He's buying all the cards I have from those sets without dupes. Card total is about $1,200. What is a fair ask per card? A nickel? I think that's certainly a fair ask. Absolutely. I think that's because and some people will say, well, those are penny cards. Here's why a fair price to buy those from somebody is 5 cents. Or you could even start at 10. I think 10 cents is kind of a little for 1,200 because you have to have a bulk price, right? But you're also putting in a lot of work to pull those cards. So 5 cents, I think 5 cents is, I wouldn't go less than that if you're spending time pulling all those. So I think that's absolutely fair. Absolutely. Because you're putting in a lot of work pulling those, and then doing whatever if you have to ship them and all that. So I think that's absolutely a good price. I wouldn't go much less than that. Like if you're buying, but like I just want to buy a whole bunch of cards, duplicates, and I don't care if I need them, then it's like a fraction of a penny. But if you're a set builder, like if I was looking for Cubs to complete my sets from that era, say I didn't have some of those, I would absolutely pay 5 cents. As a collector set builder, I'm absolutely paying 5 cents a card. So yeah, I think that's a fair, perfect price for both parties, for a buyer and a seller. I had a guy at the Madison Card Show, and I think I've talked about this. He came, the first time I met him was, and I'm sure he's come to my table several months ago and multiple times, and he's asked for mascot cards. And I'm like, I do have mascot cards, but they're spread in. And then I see him again. I'm like, I don't know, because mascot cards are not something that I typically really do. Well, sometimes I'll put them in my eBay store. Sometimes I do put them in quarter boxes. So all of a sudden I see him a third time. And I think the third time I actually had put a bunch of mascot cards in the boxes. And I'm like, they're in here somewhere. Couldn't find them. Like an hour later, it might have been Shane was digging. He's like, here, I found those mascot cards. So I set them aside. I saw the guy at the next card show. So this has been going on for several months. And I said, hey, remember I told you there were mascot cards? Somebody was digging through and found them. I set them aside for you. I don't have them today. This was at Janesville, I think, last month. But the next Madison Card Show, I will bring them and whatever else I find. So I ended up finding like almost 50 of them. I think there were 43 total. And so I think I charged him $8, which is like 15 cents a card. And so he's going through and he's like, because I had a lot that he needed. And he's like, what would you want for all of them? And I figured he would ask that. So, and I had the $8 already. I'm like, I'll charge him $8. And I said $8. And he looked like the happiest man in the room. Like he was getting a steal of a deal. I was happy with $8. I didn't really have to do any work. I mean, if I'm putting cards in, it's like, oh, there's a mascot card. I'm putting this aside for the mascot guy. So that's why it's important to communicate with, if you're selling cards at a card show and you have, especially when you have bargain boxes and they're unorganized, because it's like, do you have any 82 tops? Well, there might be some in there, but I don't know where. It's not worth your time, because you might sit there for 2 hours and only find one, and you might already have that one. So, but if I start seeing them on a regular basis, like, oh, I know that's the 82 tops guy. Now I can bring a box of 82 tops. Like, hey, look through this. I've got a guy that I thought I had talked to him in Janesville, but it was somebody else. I'm like, were you the one we chatted? And I talked about this on the show about looking for cards from like 2005 to 2015. You just don't see those in bargain boxes today. You see you see mostly the last 3 years. You don't even see junk wax anymore. I'm actually happy to see junk wax in bargain boxes now, because I see so much 2021 Bowman, right? So it wasn't him I was talking with, but he is so I learned he's a heritage collector. So I'm like, oh, okay. So anytime I have heritage, it's just going in the quarter box, and maybe I'll set a row. Here's all the heritage that I found this month. So it's communication important. Robert says, I did mean I was late, not you. Well, we were both late, because I was late also this morning. James says, Sandy left out. Dang, man. Shane says, good morning. Good morning, Shane. Bob is in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Happy New Year. Brian says, Willie Mays may be the best complete ball player ever. I agree. Mikey says, I forgot Mays. My bad. Zach says, I think Ted Williams may deserve a vote or 4. I'd put Ted Williams on that list. Utley is a sub 2K hits and only had a 5-year stretch in a 16-year career. Just a good player. He was a very good player, but he wasn't a Hall of Fame player. I agree. Philly Joe says Jeff Kent belongs in the Hall of Fame. I was an anti-Jeff Kent fan. Let's look at the numbers. Jeff Kent. Because I bet if I looked at his numbers, I'd be like, oh, okay, Jeff Kent's probably a Hall of Famer. All right, where are we at? Let's add Jeff Kent to the stage. All right, so he's got that WAR behind him, 55.5 WAR, 2,461 career hits. He had 377 home runs, a 290 career batting average. That's impressive. 1,518 ribbies, 94 stolen bases. He was a 4-time Silver Slugger, 5-time All-Star, and he won a National League MVP in 2000 with the San Francisco Giants. He also finished in the top 10 MVP voting 4 times in his career. That MVP in 2000, he finished 6th in 2002, 8th in 1997, and 9th in the NL MVP voting in 1998. Looks like his career was like 1997 through basically 2005. So he had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a pretty solid. That's pretty solid though. A solid 9-year track. Let's take a look at Jeff Kent's Jaws. Jeff Kent's Jaws, 21st. Oh yeah, he was a second baseman. So he's actually, was he below? Who was he below? He's way below Chase Utley. How about that? How about that? In the Jaws, Jeff Kent's 21st among second basemen, below Dustin Pedroia and Ian Kinsler, and just ahead of Jose Altuve, Bobby Doerr, and Nellie Fox. Ben Zobrist not too far down at 26. Interesting. So there you go, Jeff Kent. How many, but now I want to look at Jeff Kent. Here's his similarity scores. Impressive. Robinson, Cano, Aramis, Ramirez, but not Hall of Fame impressive. He does have he's 3 similarity batters on his similarity scores. Jim Rice, Scott Rowland, Ryan Sandberg. Was he a second baseman for most of his? I guess he was. For some reason, I thought he was like a DH or outfielder, but I guess I was wrong. Where's his fielding stats? All right. So, oh yeah. So is that games played? So yeah. Oh my God. He was like second base his entire, like 98% of his career was second base. The hell was I thinking? 2,034 games at second base, 157 games at third base, 117 games at first base, 7 games as a DH, and 3 games at shortstop. Jeff Kent. So I'd probably put Jeff Kent in the Hall. Looking at his numbers, might put him in there. There never was a good war or a bad peace. Ben Franklin. Thank you, Zach. T206 Kid says, Ray has also had a batting title. I don't put much stock in batting titles. But I guess it is something on your resume that is something else that goes in there. Peter, what's going on? He says, I put no stock in a modern player being a fill-in-the-number-time all-star. I agree with that. Just because you played 22 seasons and you get all that war. And that's what I think you see with Jeff Kent, you see with Chase Utley. They had long careers to fill the numbers and get that war up. And I think that's why you can poo-poo war. Because if you play 20, Harold Baines, everybody, if you play a bunch of seasons and you build numbers, build those stats, you're going to get a high war. So that it does skew the war. CA, no way. Joey Votto isn't a Hall of Famer. Ooh. So Joey Votto will go on in what, another 4 years, 5 years? Or no, Joey Votto still, he hasn't retired yet. Joey Votto. Let's take a look at Joey Votto. So he's still going. Let's see. Can we present Joey Votto? Let's present Joey Votto. Is Joey Votto a Hall of Famer? James says no. Let's read the numbers. He's an MVP, Gold Glove, 6-time All-Star, 64.4 WAR, but we just poo-pooed that. 2,135 career hits, 356 home runs, 294 career batting average. That's impressive. Over 1,100 runs, over 1,100 RBI. Let's take a look at some of his similarity scores. Let's see MVP voting. Let's do that first. So he was the MVP in 2010. He's finished in the top 10 in MVP voting 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Following that MVP in 2010, he finished 6th in 2011. He finished 6th in 2013, 3rd in 2015, 7th in 2016, runner-up in 2017. Joey Votto. Let's take a look at his similarity scores. Freddie Freeman, Paul Goldschmidt, Will Clark, Derek Lee, Edgar Martinez, who is a Hall of Famer, Matt Holliday, Lance Berkman, Ellis Burks, Adrian Gonzalez, Orlando Cepeda, who is also a Hall of Famer. 2 Hall of Famers. Doesn't scream Hall of Fame right there with the similarity scores. Let's take a look at that Jaws. Joey's Jaws, everybody. Excuse me. First base Jaws leaders. He's 12th. There is not a player above him at first base in the Jaws rankings that is not in the Hall of Fame, nor is eligible for the Hall of Fame. The only 2 above him not in the Hall of Fame have not come on a ballot yet. Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera, who pretty sure they will both be first ballot Hall of Famers. Right below him is Rafael Palmeiro. He's clouded among this steroid controversy. A couple spots below him, Todd Helton, who may get in here in the next couple years. Next on the way down is Paul Goldschmidt, who will probably get in, I think. Mark McGwire at 18, who, of course, the steroids. So Joey Votto, that's tough company to not get in. I think Joey Votto is a Hall of Famer. James says no. JW's in the house. Good morning. Mark says, Anthony, when he yanked himself out of the game after the bunt single, he lost me. Philly Joe says, Petro. See, in Italian, it's Celli. Rico Petrocelli. So did we Americanize it? Is it Petrocelli? We Americanized it, I bet. Chris Goodell, good morning. Too early morning hobby evolution for this crazy West. Go ahead, welcome. Love to have you. I was a little late. I gave the West Coasters about a 15-minute cushion this morning. Chris, same. Was that a spell? Was that spelling? What the hell do you call that? That always changes the letters on us. Spell? No, not spell check. What the hell? When we type in a word, did you mean Chris Sale? But it spell checked it? Michael Renicky, good morning. Mark says, Mark Hoyle better not hear your pronunciation of Rico Petrocelli. Joe Webster, Utley feels like a 6th-year ballot guy. Slow burn as the ballot gets softer. Cano definitely won't get in because of his... Oh, yeah, that's right. Cano was suspended for PEDs. But David Ortiz got in. JW says, Cubs still quietly waiting for Bellinger? Question mark. I think the longer it goes, I think Cody Bellinger might be a Cub again. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, based on his 2023 season, I love it. But if we look back at his 2021 and 2022 seasons, I don't love it. Which Cody will we get? Or could we get? I think the Cubs will end up re-signing Cody Bellinger. I mean, he's a Scott Boras client. The Scott Boras clients are going, it's going to be a while, folks. Frickin' Scott Boras. I just want the Cubs to make a move soon, not because I want them to, but because I'm so sick and tired of seeing Cubs Twitter, another name, we're not signing anybody. Like, Jesus Christ, people. Chill out. It's just, well, it's January 2nd now. So I guess now, hey, now it's January. Start freaking out. But it's like December 12th. Oh, we still haven't got any. The Cubs haven't signed anybody. Give it a break. T206 kid, he wasn't the first to do that, Mark. LOL. JW says, should I donate my Wander Franco cards to my local courthouse? Just kidding. Wander Franco, according to Hector Gomez, under arrest. Collector's Dream, Orlando, good morning. Neil, Dwight Evans gets my Hall of Fame vote. Let's look at Dwight. Dwight Evans hasn't been on a Hall of Fame ballot. No, ballot. I keep saying valet, like valet. Let's look at Dwight Evans. Dwight Evans, 67.2 career WAR, 2,446 hits, 385 home runs, 272 career batting average, nearly 1,400 ribbies. He was a 3-time All-Star, 8-time Gold Glove winner, and a 2-time Silver Slugger. He's got a pretty impressive resume. He finished in the top 10 of MVP voting 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Third in the MVP voting in 1981, 7th in 82, 4th in 87, and 9th in 88. That's kind of impressive because it wasn't like Dwight Evans' career wasn't just like bunched in this 6, 7, 8 year period. It was kind of spread out, which I guess actually now that I'm looking at it, it was basically the entire decade of the 80s. It was 81 through 88. So I guess it was. Let's take a look at his similarity scores. We're looking at Dwight Evans. When did he fall off the ballot? Probably, 5 years after 91. So he was on the late 90s, I assume. Where's his similarity scores? Luis Gonzalez, Torrey Hunter, Chili Davis, Billy Williams, Sweet Swingin', Bobby Abreu, Tony Perez, Dave Parker, Carlos Beltran, Darrell Evans, and Al Kaline. Or Kaline. Is he a battery? So he's got 1, 2, 3 Hall of Famers on there. I think Beltran gets into the Hall of Fame. Bobby Abreu's been just on the cusp. Hunter's still on the ballot. Won't get in my opinion. Let's take a look at the Jaws. Right? He's 16th among right fielders in the Jaws rankings. The only non-Hall of Famers above him are Mookie Betts, who's still active, and shoeless Joe Jackson, who's not eligible. That's it. And right below him is Ichiro, who will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Do you think Ichiro will be a unanimous? Ichiro might be. Actually, you know what? I don't know if he will. I don't think he will act. Now that I say that, I don't think he will. Reggie Smith, 18th on there. Sammy Sosa. So there you go. Yeah, I agree with you. Dwight Evans, he's got a pretty impressive Hall of Fame resume. And I think maybe I'm comparing it to like Hall of Famers. Like, I think, here's what I think. I think there's a lot of fringe guys that should be in because the fringe, the barrier, the fringe barrier keeps moving lower and lower. And so there's guys like Steve Garvey, our favorite Dodger, Bobby Grich, Dwight Evans. There's those guys who were fringe. Dale Murphy. My God, why is Dale Murphy not in the Hall of Fame? There's guys where they were fringe in the 90s, but that 30 years later, it's like, well, they're no doubt. If you put Dale Murphy on the ballot next year, he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But he didn't make it in. Amazing. Flipping Sports Guy says longevity skewing numbers with Utley, and that's what we see with those WAR scores. Jeremy Davis says no Cincinnati cellar dweller is a Hall of Famer in the modern era. Shane, what's going on? He says, is your Cubs code good still for CDP2? It should be. Should be getting my scanner today, so I was wanting to mess around with CDP2 later. If it comes, absolutely. Type in the promo code Cubs. And upon your paid subscription, you'll receive 500 free scans. They haven't told me otherwise, so enter it. Let me know. If it doesn't work, let me know. And it may take, I know somebody reached out to me because it didn't work like instantly, but it should. So if it doesn't work, just let me know and I'll reach out. So there you go. Use promo code Cubs, cardiopro.com. Should still work. Where are we at? Jeremy says Barry Larkin was a stretch. Zach is wanting to know where Low Roller Scratcher is. We haven't heard from him this morning or yesterday either. He comes and goes. He's probably out playing skill games. Maybe, I know they can't play him in Virginia anymore. Maybe West Virginia allows skill games. Maybe he traveled over to West Virginia. Autocorrect God damn. No, my brain's in a fog, I guess. Autocorrect. How could I forget that? Autocorrect. Damn auto. Because I say damn autocorrect like 7 times a day. Autocorrect. Thank you. Flipping Sports Guy says Votto is tough. He's another long tenured player who compiled very good numbers that look good. When I see numbers like 17 years and barely clearing 2K hits, I go, Met. That's a good point. Mark says, as a Mets season ticket holder, had the chance to meet Kent a few times. He was a miserable person, also a complete douche with the New York media. And I think that's what kept Jeff Kent out of the Hall of Fame. He was a complete douche to everybody. And, you know, several hundred of those vote in the Hall of Fame. And they're like, well, you're a douche. Not voting for you, you prick. Corey Garcia, what's going on? Good morning. Porter, what's happening? Good morning from relegation. Jeremy says, Jeff Kent is today's James Harden. That's a good analogy. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. Boom Slang's in the house. What's happening? Good morning. Philly Joe says, Kent was on the show Survivor. Definitely a Hall of Famer. Let's go. There you go. Dan, good morning. Driving home with my childhood collection today. Very nice. That's always fun. It's always fun looking through your childhood stuff. That's why I like leaving stuff at my mom's house. So when I go, it's like nostalgia. Like if I bring it home and go through it like at my house now, it's like there's no nostalgia. I mean, there's nostalgia with the stuff, but it's almost like when you're there, because it's my mom still lives in the house I grew up in, you know, it's like, oh, the nostalgia. It looks a lot different than when I grew up, but you know, the bones are still there. Zach says, Dan, that is awesome. I agree. So that's all I had for today. Just wanted to bitch about the Hall of Fame. Today's Tuesday, January 2nd. Holy moly. Episode 1070. Hit the like button if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel. Check out Car Dealer Pro. 2.0 is amazing. I love it. I've heard less and less complaints here in the last few days. I think people are getting used to it, finding their efficiencies. Today, I'm trying lots. And you're like, well, how do you do lots on Car Dealer Pro? Well, I don't know yet, but I've got an idea. So I was on the couch last night, and I've been setting aside some like small player lots, and I just list some small player lots here and there. We got a big old hawk out there. Here and there, I'll list some lots. And so I'm like, it would be so much easier if I could use the spreadsheet. But it's just getting those photos. How do I take the photos? Because I could scan, but then I need to, how do I get all 5 into one listing? I don't know how to do that. So what I did was I just took the photos with my phone on the couch, uploaded them to Google Drive. So then I'm going to, either upload them straight from there or download them to my computer and then upload them inside Car Dealer Pro, and then just use the AI won't, work because it's going to see 5 cards. It's going to get confused and not work, which that's the plan. And then I'm just going to use the spreadsheet and then, change. Here's the lot. So I'll let you know tomorrow how that experiment goes. Shane says the only 2 bowl games this year were the 2 playoff games. Jordan says, here's a question for everyone. Would you let the people who are, no question, a Hall of Famer that are not allowed in for whatever reason? I think that's a case, for me, it's a case-by-case basis. I haven't read too much into the Black Sox scandal, but from what I've read, it sounds like, and what's like kind of publicly known, it sounds like Joe Jackson wasn't part of that scandal. So it's like case by case. Pete Rose, I don't care anymore. Like 10 years ago, I'd be like, Pete Rose, put him in. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Now it's like, he's a clown show. And so it's like, I don't care if he gets in. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, absolutely. I've been on their bandwagon since day one. They should be in. But I think for me, it's a case-by-case basis. Cheesehead Treasures, what's going on? He says it's a bit glitchy yet for me. What type of glitches are you experiencing? Is it just accuracy? Is it just web glitch? Maybe you're using it in a different way. I'd be curious on how it's glitchy. John blocked a buyer 12 hours into the new year. Very efficient of me. I'm coming close to blocking somebody just because they're kind of being a dumbass. But I haven't pulled the trigger. Shane says, as well as the Wisconsin versus LSU game, I can't beat Washington almost lost with that wild ending. They should have won easily the way they played. Believe, not beat. Autocorrect. Boom Slang says, I saw you on an ad for the printer copier you use for eBay listings. Yes, that was, so the ad is for Car Dealer Pro, and then the scanner I use is from Ricoh, the Ricoh 8170. So that's what I had for today. I'll keep you posted on how my lot experiment. I think I'm going to do that right now before I start shipping. So I'll share my experience tomorrow morning. Like, subscribe, hit up my eBay store, 7 or more at regular price, and you'll get 25% off at checkout. John adds, my buyer simply said, retract my offer. I haven't time for the nanny state. So I'll tell you this guy's about to get blocked. So I had somebody who sent me offers. They sent me some were lowball offers and some were they sent me 8 offers. And 4, I'd be like, I'm going to take these offers. But then there was one, he sent me an offer of 99 cents on a $4 card. It's like, well, I'm not going to take that offer. Then they messaged me and said, just send me an offer to get the 25% off. I'm like, you can, all you do is you buy the cards and you get the 20. There's no work on either of our parts to get 25% off. So I don't know. And I explained that to him. I said, well, thanks for the offers. If you buy them outright, you'll automatically get 25% off. And his response was weird. It was like Packers stuff, talking about the Packers. I don't know how that has anything to do with it, because I don't think they were even Packer cards he was buying or wanting to buy. So there was a couple back and forth messages, and then I said, I'm going to decline your offers, but if you buy them outright, you will get 25% off. I don't know if he didn't understand that, or if he was trying to game the system and think that he's getting 50% off on this listing plus another 25% off, which it says clearly in the description doesn't work on offers. So when I said, I'm going to decline your offers, but if you buy them at full price, you'll get your 25% off, his response was, whatever, lame. I'm like, no, you want 25% off. That's how you do it. And no offers are needed. You just buy them and automatically get the discount. It's really easy. And then out of the blue, I just ignored the whatever lame. And then overnight, I get another message from him on a listing that I don't even think he submitted an offer on. And his recent, and this is the one that the original back and forth, that's not for me, that's not black, just ignore and move on. But then out of the blue on a listing, his message is, good luck, skipper, ... What the hell does that mean? So that's where it's I think I'm just going to block this guy. So we'll see. If there's another message, he will be getting the block. Okay, let's finish up the chat here. Porter says, I went to high school with Blake DeWitt. Seeing him get the opening day start at second for the Dodgers instead of Kent was very satisfying. Kyle says, what's your thoughts on Roger Maris in the Hall of Fame? I've always been anti Roger Maris because he's more known for his 1961 season. He only played 12 years. So that's, here's who brought it? I think Paul, Flipping Sports Guy, brought it up about 17 years compiling stats, but 17 years is a good career. I mean, if 10 years is like too short for Hall of, like, people like, well, you only put 10 years. Like, the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame is kind of built around staying power and like a longer career. If you were good, the longer you were good, great, Hall of Fame. Roger Maris, 12 years is a pretty short time. Couple MVPs, 275 home runs, 260 career batting average. He only had 1,300 hits. So his numbers just aren't there. He 7-time All-Star, Gold Glove, 2-time MVP. But it's confined in like a 3-year period. His similarity scores, we're talking Roger Maris here. His similarity scores are really weak. Bob Allison, Hank Sauer, Jay Buhner, Josh Donaldson, Jesse Barfield, Tony Armas, Dean Palmer, Eric Davis. There's another guy. That's a really good similarity. Eric Davis had a really great 3-4 year stretch. Danny Tartabull and Matt Stairs. What's his JAWS look like? He's 59th among right fielders in JAWS. I mean, some of the players above Roger Maris in JAWS are guys like Tim Salmon, Johnny Callison, Jesse Barfield, Ken Singleton, Felipe Alou, J.D. Drew, Darryl Strawberry, Jack Clark, Brian Giles. So yeah, Roger Maris is a big fat no from me. Flawed Thinker says, I've been selling through a good amount of my 1948 wrestling card lot. I've already made my initial investment back and still have over half the cards left. Hey, speaking of wrestling cards, I've started kind of looking on eBay for auctions. And I was doing that around the holidays just because there's probably less eyeballs as people are, doing holiday things. So I bought I bought a 1990 classic wrestling lot, which are pretty popular, good sellers. Oh, wrong thing. I found a lot at auction. I ended up winning 186 cards. I paid $20 shipped, which is about 12 cents a card. And I'll probably put these in my eBay store for about $2.50 a piece. I don't know who's all in here. So like the Rockers, Ted DiBiase. So, I don't know if Hulk Hogan's in here. I think the Ultimate Warrior sells for a little higher than the others. Andre the Giant's in there. So a lot of duplicates. Oh yeah, there is a Hogan. At least one Hogan. So it'll be fun. A set that brings back nostalgia. Not only do I think I'll make a good return on it, but it also will be fun going through those cards because I remember buying those packs as an 8-year-old. The rookie card specialist, Victor, is here. He says, I've utilized the free week in Card Dealer Pro 2.0 using the Cubs promo, of course. Thank you. And I've done 3 small batches. Got to say, I'm impressed and I may be converted. Hey! They even fixed the iMac issues. Very cool. Love to hear it. Victor, printing issues. iMac printing issues. Awesome. John says, buyers are acting like they're at a restaurant and we are their waiters. I'm requesting eBay ads. Or would you like to add a tip button upon checkout? That's a pretty good idea. Would you like to add a tip? I like that. Shane says, good luck, Skipper. Why can't I get funny eBay people? John says, yes, 7 All-Star games in 4 seasons is misleading. Oh, I didn't even realize that. I didn't even realize 7 all. Yeah, that was back in the day when they did 2 All-Star games. That is misleading. So he was an All-Star in 4 seasons. 59, 60, 61, and 62. In 3 of those seasons, he was a 2-time All-Star. Thank you, John, for pointing that out. I did not even I glossed over that. All righty, so now I'm done talking today. Hall of Fame is always a fun topic because I enjoy looking at the numbers and just opining. Tomorrow's Wednesday already. Trash day already. Oh, tomorrow's a fun one, though. I think tomorrow. Oh, no. Tomorrow's just the regular trash day. I don't think we get recycling tomorrow. All right. So I'm going to wrap things up. CarDealerPro.com, promo code Cubs. You'll get 500 free scans upon your paid subscription. My eBay store is 99centcards.com. My next card show, not until Saturday, January 27th. That's the Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. That's my only show in the month of January. So come see me then. Cubs Convention, a couple weeks away. So there will be no Hobby Evolution shows on that Friday, Saturday, nor Sunday. I'm actually going to go down on Thursday this year and do some early Cubs hangouts. So there you go. There you go. Like and subscribe. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.